بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam and in humanity, today is day 25 of the ongoing genocide in Gaza. So far, 15,000 people have been killed. What we know of, at least 3,000 of them are children. Unfortunately, the political establishment in the English-speaking world has turned a complete blind eye to this, and it's heartbreaking and it's disappointing, but it also exposes the level of hypocrisy that exists within the political establishment and within the mainstream media and even parts of social media. The ongoing joke, of course, in social media is, will you condemn Hamas when anybody is interviewed by somebody from the mainstream media. But the fact is, it isn't a joke. The fact is the mainstream media is dehumanizing Palestinians, and the political establishment is completely ignoring international law. The Prime Minister of Britain, Rishi Sunak, has made it completely clear that whatever Israel does is fine by him.
Last thing for me to close on is this. You describe this as Israel's darkest hour. Well, then it's for me to say I'm proud to stand here with you in Israel's darkest hour. As your friend, we will stand with you in solidarity. We will stand with your people, and we also want you to win.
The Home Secretary of Britain has rigorously campaigned against anybody who shows any sympathy towards the people of Palestine, the people of Gaza, who are unarmed, who are being bombed, and without mercy, without any level of thought for the fact that they are civilians. They are being starved to death. Their water's cut off deliberately. The electricity is cut off from the hospitals deliberately. And let us not beat around the bush. No amount of political correctness can actually justify genocide. And the fact is, Benjamin Netanyahu actually said he is going to commit genocide. He called on his army to commit genocide. This is him invoking old biblical verses to commit genocide. So if you see here in an interview he did, or a press statement he did, which was covered by Sky News, he mentions key words that Jewish people understand. And he is relying on the word on the street and on the way Jewish people feel. So if you can notice that he references the Amalekites.
Just remember what Amalek has done to you, says our Holy Bible, and we do remember, and we are fighting. Our brave troops and combatants who are now in Gaza or around Gaza and in all other regions in Israel are joining this chain of Jewish heroes, a chain that has started 3,000 years ago from Joshua ben Nun.
He also mentions Joshua, suggesting that the situation with the army that Joshua led is the same. When he says the chain of soldiers, he's actually suggesting the same. Now, what did Joshua do? In Joshua 6:21, and they utterly destroyed everything in the city, man and woman, young and old, even oxen and sheep and donkeys, with the edge of the sword. So what he is saying is the soldiers of Israel, he's instructing them to do what Joshua did. We also see, as he is invoking what he says, our Bible, he's invoking Samuel 1, 15:3. Now go and smite the Amalekites. See, he says the Amalekites. Now go and smite the Amalekites and destroy all that they have. Do not spare them, but kill man and woman, child and infant, cow and sheep, camel and donkey. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? He's calling for genocide. And of course, the political establishment has no problem with that. We saw the MP, the cabinet minister for the Conservative Party, who was shocked, and he was totally dismayed that some unknown person in a crowd in London said the word jihad.
Should be a consensus in this country that chanting things like jihad is completely reprehensible and wrong, and we don't ever want to see that.
Well, what Benjamin Netanyahu, who is a head of state, is saying exactly that, but that's okay. And if you look at the congressman for America and look at what he says.
I don't even want to call it the Palestinian flag because they're not a state, they're a territory that's about to probably get eviscerated and go away here shortly, as we're going to turn that into a parking lot.
Now notice the word eviscerate. What does eviscerate mean? It means disembowel. So we're talking about genocide and mutilation of people. But I didn't see any political person disagree with that. And then you have commentators on mainstream media and social media having a dig at Muslims. Oh, you're not a peaceful religion. It's all, well, guess what? Nobody said we're a peaceful religion. Islam is a practical religion. Islam is a religion that instructs people how to live. And Islam, yes, Islam does not say, like the Christians, or turn the other cheek, but then goes around quoting the Old Testament and committing genocide after genocide after genocide from North America, South America, the Spanish Inquisitions, the invasion of India, the invasion of Africa, all in the name of turn the other cheek. Well, turn the other cheek. What What they want is for everybody else to turn the other cheek while they take everything, while they kill everybody. So no, Islam is not that. Islam says, وَقَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُوكُمْ وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. Fight those who fight you. Fight in the way of Allah those who fight you. But do not transgress. For Allah does not like transgressors. Now, what is transgression? Transgression is not adhering to the rules of war. And the rules of war in Islam is you do not kill a woman who's a non-combatant. You do not kill a child. You do not kill the sick. You do not kill the mad person who doesn't know what's going on. You do not kill animals. You do not uproot trees. You do not pollute wells. And that is something that the Israelis are doing every day. And they continue to do every day. They continue to burn olive trees and salt olive orchards. So, yes, Islam is not Christianity. We don't turn the other cheek. But at the same time, Islam is not Judaism, which clearly in their Bible, it says, commit genocide wherever you go. Yes, maybe here in the West, those who are naive believe that the Israelis don't believe in their Bible literally. Well, actually they do. But we saw this coming. We saw this coming when the Minister of Defense of Israel on the 7th of October said he was going to commit a war crime.
מוחלט על העיר עזה. אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם ואנחנו נוהגים בהתאם.
To use starvation as a weapon of war. And what did our political establishment do? They gave it the okay. Israel has a right to defend itself. The occupier has a right to defend itself from the occupied. And not only the government, even the Labour Party. I mean, if you look at Keir Starmer, what he said.
Is appropriate, cutting off power, cutting off water.
Well, I think that Israel does have that right. It is an ongoing situation.
Because getting into power and becoming prime minister is more important to him than morals. To be quite honest, it's not only upsetting, it's not only heartbreaking, it's disappointing. Because all of us who live in England, we had a notion of some level of fairness, which obviously does not exist.
I have made my views clear. These are hate marches, and the police must take a zero-tolerance approach to anti-Semitism. There's a large number of bad actors who are deliberately operating beneath the criminal threshold in a way which you or I, or the vast majority of British people, would consider to be utterly odious.
Then you've got the Home Secretary who is actually trying to criminalize waving a flag that is recognized by the UN and calling people who don't break the law odious. Well, I'll tell you what. To actually suggest that waving the Palestinian flag is tantamount to terrorism, that is odious. To employ Hindutva principles in England is odious. To have more loyalty to Israel than to Great Britain is odious. This whole argument of, oh, maybe the Jewish people, when they see the Palestinian flag, it might offend them or intimidate them. Well, you know what? The people on the march, there's a large Jewish contingent on the marches. And you know what? The fact that my tax money goes to lighting up 10 Downing Street with the Israeli flag offends me, and it intimidates me, because the way I feel as a British Muslim, I feel that the entire establishment has decided that I am less of a human being. So I am offended. And I feel intimidated when I see a policeman, because I wonder, he might be an Israeli. He might be a Zionist.
It's because of the fact that it's a Sabbath, that, you know, it's not something that you...
There is absolutely nothing we can do about it. We know that this genocide will continue, and it will continue until the lust for blood has been satisfied. And it will continue until there is no body in Gaza. And it will continue until no Palestinian will ever dare to say, actually, you can't take my house. The thing is, that's what they think. And they have employed political correctness to actually pretend they don't know what happens when you do this to a people. Whether you like it or not, eventually people will say enough is enough. And that is why they are targeting children. They want to get rid of as many Palestinian children as they want. Now, all I can say to the right-minded people of this country is continue to say no, and come next election, shame on you if you are a Muslim and you vote for Labour. And shame on you to vote Conservative anyway, whether you're a Muslim or not, because it is obvious that they are Zionists and they are loyal to Israel and not loyal to the UK. I know I may sound a bit harsh and a bit angry. I will be honest, I am angry. I am angry and I'm heartbroken and I am disappointed. I just hope at some stage the voice of the people will come through. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.